Hello, and welcome to another travel video. If you are new here, I'm Christy, and I love to travel with my Diabetic Alert Dog Zander and my friend Tony. I know it has been a while since we have posted anything. Between the holidays and 2 bouts of sickness, which is an occupational hazard of being a teacher, I haven't had much time to edit, though I have several videos I would like to complete in the very near future. My school district gave us a week off for Thanksgiving break. Tony and I took the opportunity to go on a short trip before family Thanksgiving festivities ensued. One of our favorite places to visit is Smoky Mountains National Park. I've been going to this area since I was a kid, and Tony and I have been there together several times, mostly to the Tennessee side of the park. This time we decided to stay on the North Carolina side. We got to experience some new places as well as revisit some favorite places in the park. It was an amazing trip, and we would love to share our adventure with you. We stayed in Maggie Valley, North Carolina, which is about 30 minutes away from Cherokee, North Carolina, one of our favorite places to visit. Even when we stay on the Tennessee side of the park, we always take time to drive over Newfound Gap Road and visit this area. According to CherokeesSmokies.com, the town of Cherokee is located within the Qualla boundary. The Cherokee people have lived in this area for centuries, and the current residents are descendants of people who were able to avoid the forced removal of the Cherokee people onto Oklahoma on the Trail of Tears. The area has many great attractions, including hiking trails, waterfalls, shopping, historic attractions, Oconaluftee Indian Village, and the Cherokee Museum of the American Indian. It also borders the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. We usually spend our time in the area near the Oconaluftee River Trail that leads from Cherokee to the Oconaluftee Visitor Center just after the entrance to the park. We love the little area of shops by the mill, exploring the sights around town, and walking the trail to the Visitor Center. We got to the area kind of late, so we only had time for a little bit of sightseeing and to walk on the trail. The Oconaluftee River Trail is an easy 1.5-mile trail that runs along the Oconaluftee River between Cherokee and the Oconaluftee Visitor Center. There are beautiful views of the river, and you have the opportunity to see lots of wildlife as you walk. We have seen wild turkeys, deer, and elk at various times on our trips. No. The Oconaluftee Visitor Center and Mountain Farm Museum is the first stop on Newfound Gap Road as you enter the park from Cherokee. The Visitor Center has various displays that give information about the history and geology of the area. There are also bathrooms available here. The center is located next to the Oconaluftee Mountain Farm Museum. According to the NPS website, the farm consists of several structures made from American chestnut and constructed in the early 1800s. They were moved to this area during the 1950s. The park has programs here that include growing plants and keeping livestock such as pigs and chickens. Zander was able to accompany me inside the enclosure because he is a service dog, but keep in mind that while pets are allowed on the visitor center grounds and on the river trail, they are not allowed inside the farm museum enclosure. I love exploring these old buildings and seeing how people lived in this area so long ago. After our time in Cherokee and Oconaluftee, we decided to take the 20-minute drive to Bryson City in search of dinner and to explore the town. Neither of us had been there before, but we really enjoyed the visit. This town goes all out for Christmas. The decorations were beautiful and we loved walking up and down the street to window shop. All the amazing shops had wonderful Christmas displays. There were so many historic structures, shops, and restaurants to explore that we definitely want to come back earlier in the day sometime so we can go into the buildings and explore the shops. The Great Smoky Mountain Railroad also offers train rides out of the depot in town. When we were there were so many families coming in matching pajamas to ride the Polar Express train. This is a 1-hour, 15-minute ride to see Santa. I will link the website in the description below. There is also a 4-hour ride available that we were not able to do because we got to town so late, but it is definitely on our list of things to do when we return to the area. Most of the restaurants were crowded the day we were there, and I was getting hangry. Fellow diabetics, I'm sure you understand. So we got tacos at a taco truck next to the skating rink, got some hot drinks from the brewery there, and sat by a fire eating our dinner and listening to Christmas music. We could also see the depot and the Christmas light display across the street. You could plan a whole trip around Bryson City, and I will link their website if you would like to explore the amazing things to do in this area. Before we left on our trip, my aunt suggested that we take the time to visit Cataloochee Valley while we were in the area. It was about 45 minutes from where we were staying in Maggie Valley. Be aware that much of the ride is on narrow gravel roads. We had a beautiful day for our drive, but I can imagine that weather will sometimes make this road impassable. Cataloochee Valley is also part of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. There are several historic structures located in the area that date from the late 19th and early 20th centuries. There is hiking, camping, and fishing available in the area, as well as a self-guided auto tour. We took the auto tour, but we did miss some structures because we didn't know that some of the structures were only accessible by trail. This means that we will need to return in the future to explore them. We did get to see a church, a school, and a large frame house, as well as spend some time along the stream. We were lucky enough to see a large herd of elk while we were there. Palmer Chapel is a Methodist church built for the community in 1898. It is located a short way from the road in the shade of some tall trees and next to a stream. The shade and stream probably contributed to the fact that the interior of the church was noticeably colder than the outside air. The inside is plain, consisting of rows of yellow pews, a pulpit, and a large cross on the wall. Apparently, you can rent the building out for weddings still, though there is a maximum of 50 people and 10 cars allowed at the site. The schoolhouse in Cataloochee Valley is called Beech Grove School. It is a replacement structure for an earlier building and operated from 1901 until 1940. The school is a 2-room wooden building. One room still has rows of desks, a teacher's table, and old chalkboards. The other room is empty but still has the chalkboard on the walls. You can see the hole in the wall where the wood-burning stove used to be. The Caldwell Place was built by Hiram Caldwell beginning in 1903. The house was added to over time and reached its current state in 1906. This is a large wooden house, and it is a great place to explore. Large rooms, dark wood, and remnants of newspaper wallpaper are all that is left in the interior. But it's wonderful to explore if you enjoy historic structures. This is the area of the park where most of the elk are located, and we saw so many of them when we were visiting this valley. Elk were hunted to extinction in this area by the mid-19th century. The National Park Service began reintroducing the animal into the park in 2001. Since then, the herds have been growing, and now it isn't uncommon to see elk while visiting the park, especially in the Cataloochee and Oconaluftee areas. According to the National Park Service website, the best times to view elk are early morning, late evening, cloudy summer days, and after storms. That doesn't mean you won't see them if you aren't looking at those times. It was a beautiful sunny day when we visited Cataloochee, and we were there in the mid-afternoon. Sometimes, whether or not you see elk just comes down to luck and great timing. As I mentioned earlier, access to Cataloochee includes several miles on a winding gravel road. Here is some footage of our drive out to Cataloochee, including a lone elk that we came across as we came around a bend on the paved road closer to Maggie Valley. The Newfound Gap Road is a 31-mile paved road that traverses the center of the Smoky Mountains National Park, going from Sugar Land's Visitor Center near Gatlinburg to Cherokee, North Carolina. There are several pullouts along the way that give magnificent views. There is also a parking lot at the actual Newfound Gap where you can park, use the restroom, and take in the amazing view. One of our favorite places to watch a sunset in the Smokies is from Clingman's Dome. The view from the actual tower is wonderful, but if you don't want to hike up to the tower, the view from the parking lot is equally spectacular. Clingman's Dome is the highest peak in the park and also in Tennessee. It is the third highest peak east of the Mississippi. To get there, you take the access road off the Newfound Gap Road just south of the Newfound Gap parking lot. The access road is 7 miles from Newfound Gap Road to Clingman's Dome parking lot. Keep in mind that this road is closed from early December through late March and when the weather is bad. The trail to the tower is a paved half-mile trail, but it is not wheelchair accessible because of the steep grade. Temperatures here are often much colder than at the bottom of the mountain. We often get spectacular sunset photos here, but also remember this is a very popular area of the park and the parking lot can fill up very quickly. We often have a lot of luck seeing wildlife in the Cades Cove area. We decided to head over in that direction in the evening. That seems to be where we see the most animals. It did not disappoint. We saw a bear on the way to the area and stopped to take some pictures and video. This bear was located up on a ridge a good distance from where we parked our vehicle by the road. We zoomed in and took pictures and video from a safe distance. If you visit this area, please remember that these are wild animals. It is important to keep a safe distance from both bear and elk if you see them in the park. This is why we bring a camera with an amazing zoom on these trips. After we watched the bear, we continued on to Cades Cove. This is a historic community that is very popular with tourists. There are several historical structures, including several cabins, churches, and a visitor center with a gift shop. There are also several structures, including a blacksmith shop, a residence, and a grist mill near the visitor center. We were there at sunset, so we didn't stop at many buildings on our visit. We were mostly looking for wildlife, but we did stop at the Primitive Baptist Church on this trip because we had never visited that structure before. It is a short way off the loop on a gravel road. The Cades Cove Loop is an 11-mile one-way road that allows you to leisurely drive or bike to enjoy the scenery, wildlife, and historic structures. Keep in mind that it can take 2 to 4 hours to do the entire loop depending on traffic, and it can get very crowded during peak seasons. There are also several trailheads located along the Cades Cove Loop, including the hike to Abrams Falls, which is a moderate 5-mile round-trip trail leading to a beautiful waterfall. We have done this trail on past trips, and it is definitely worth the hike. Since we arrived too late to explore many of the structures in Cades Cove on this trip, I have included a few pictures I took at some of the cabins and at the mill on previous trips to the area. We really hadn't planned on visiting Gatlinburg on this trip, but since we were on that side of the park visiting Cades Cove, and since it was our last night before heading home, we decided to stop for dinner and to walk around the town to enjoy the Christmas lights. We didn't stay very long, just long enough to eat dinner and walk up and down the main street to take a few pictures and window shop. Thank you for joining us on another adventure. We hope that you enjoyed the pictures and videos and that this video provided you with useful information about the area. Please take the time to like this video, and if you haven't already, please tap the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you know when new videos have been uploaded. We look forward to sharing our next adventure with you. In the meantime, here's to fluffy pups, steady blood sugars, and awaiting adventures.